Could faith really topple a fortress? Or was there something else behind the fall of Jericho's walls? Ever heard of a city whose walls came tumbling down just from the sound of trumpets? We're re-diving into one of the Bible's most epic stories, Joshua and the walls of Jericho. Get ready to explore the faith, strategy, and maybe even a little bit of miracle that led to this legendary victory. By the end of this video, you'll understand the historical context, the spiritual significance, and the lasting lessons we can learn from Joshua's incredible journey. Get ready to witness the impossible. Jericho. More than just a children's story. Okay, so when you hear Joshua and the walls of Jericho, what comes to mind? Probably images of trumpets blaring, walls crumbling, and maybe even a little bit of Sunday school awkwardness. It's a story that's so ingrained in our collective consciousness, it's easy to dismiss it as just that. A children's story. But hold on a second, because beneath the surface of this epic tale, there are some seriously powerful and relevant lessons for us today. First, let's set the stage. The Israelites, after wandering in the desert for 40 years, are finally poised to enter the Promised Land. Moses, their leader, has passed away, and now Joshua, his successor, is tasked with leading them into this new chapter. Their first major obstacle? The fortified city of Jericho? Now, Jericho wasn't just some small town with a wooden fence around it. It was a strategic stronghold, a heavily defended city that stood as a formidable barrier to the Israelites' progress. Think of it like trying to build a successful business but facing a huge regulatory hurdle, or attempting to achieve a personal goal but battling crippling self-doubt. Jericho represents that massive obstacle standing between you and what you're striving for. From a purely strategic viewpoint, taking Jericho seemed almost impossible. The Israelites weren't really equipped for a traditional siege. They didn't have sophisticated siege weaponry or the resources to surround the city and starve them out. But God had a different plan, one that defied military logic. He instructed Joshua to march around the city once a day for 6 days, with priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant and blowing trumpets. On the 7th day, they were to march around 7 times. The priests were to blow a long blast on the trumpets, and the people were to shout. And then, bam, the walls would fall down. Now before you start thinking, yeah right, sounds like a fairy tale, let's remember that this story isn't necessarily about how the walls fell, but why they fell. It's about obedience, faith, and trusting in a power greater than yourself, even when the instructions seem totally absurd. Imagine your boss asking you to do something that seems completely illogical, like say marketing a new product by wearing a chicken suit in Times Square. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but the point is, sometimes God calls us to do things that don't make sense to our human logic. Are we willing to trust Him even then? Are we willing to step out in faith and obey, even when we don't understand the big picture? That's the core lesson embedded within this seemingly outlandish narrative. The siege begins. Faith in action. So there they were, an enormous army, 1,000 strong, surrounding the seemingly impenetrable city of Jericho. Imagine the scene. Dust swirling in the hot desert air, the glint of bronze weapons in the sunlight, and the sheer, imposing height of those city walls. You could almost hear the taunts and jeers of the Jericho inhabitants, safe behind their fortifications. They likely thought they were invincible. Joshua, however, was undeterred. He had received clear instructions from God, and he trusted in them implicitly. He gathered his leaders and relayed the divine strategy. For 6 days, the Israelite army was to march around the city, once each day led by 7 priests carrying trumpets made of ram's horns and followed by the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark, remember, was the sacred chest containing the tablets of the 10 Commandments, representing God's presence and covenant with His people. It was a powerful symbol, and its presence at the forefront of the procession must have been a sight to behold. Now picture this in your mind. This wasn't a typical siege. There was no battering ram, no scaling ladders, no volleys of arrows, just silent, disciplined marching. Can you imagine the whispers, the raised eyebrows, the confusion, even within the Israelite ranks? Surely some of them were thinking, this is it? This is our strategy walking around the city. What good will that do? Human logic would dictate that they needed weapons, tactics, and brute force. But God's ways are often not our ways. Each day, for 6 days, they followed these instructions. The priests blew their trumpets, a long, mournful sound that echoed across the valley. The soldiers marched in perfect formation, their eyes fixed on the ark. and the people of Jericho watched from the walls, probably shaking their heads in disbelief and amusement. They likely felt a surge of confidence each evening as the Israelites retreated to their camp. Having accomplished nothing, it seemed to weaken their defenses. But something else was happening, something unseen, something powerful. With each rotation, the Israelites were demonstrating their unwavering faith in God's promise. They were choosing obedience over logic, trust over fear. It wasn't about their own strength or ingenuity. It was about God's power working through their willingness to follow His instructions. No matter how unconventional they seemed, and that, my friends, is a powerful force in itself. They were planting a seed of faith, one footstep at a time, around the seemingly impenetrable fortress. They were waiting on God, confident that He would act in His perfect timing. The seventh day was about to bring a dramatic climax. Lessons from Jericho. Breaking down your own walls. Joshua's story isn't just a historical account. It's a powerful metaphor for overcoming obstacles in our own lives. The walls of Jericho represent those seemingly insurmountable barriers: fear, doubt, addiction, financial hardship, broken relationships that prevent us from reaching our potential and fulfilling our purpose. So, how can we apply Joshua's victory to conquer our own Jericho? First, embrace the unconventional. Joshua's strategy was bizarre. Circling the city for 6 days in silence, then blowing trumpets and shouting. It defied military logic. It was God's plan, and Joshua obeyed. In your life, maybe the solution to your problem isn't the obvious one. Be open to unconventional approaches, to ideas that seem strange or even foolish. Sometimes what looks crazy might just be divinely inspired. Second, cultivate unwavering faith and obedience. Joshua didn't understand why he had to circle the city. He just trusted God's instructions. He obeyed, even when it seemed pointless. We need to develop that same unwavering faith. Believe that even in the face of impossible odds, something miraculous can happen. Practice obedience to your core values, to your conscience, to the guidance you feel within. This means pushing through discomfort, resisting temptation, and consistently making choices that align with your goals and values. Third, find your community and work together. Joshua's army acted as one, united in their purpose. They weren't individuals pursuing their own agendas. They were a cohesive force working towards a common goal. Surround yourself with people who support you, who believe in you, and who will hold you accountable. Share your struggles, ask for help, and offer your own support to others. Remember, you're not alone in your battles. Finally, be prepared for the breakthrough moment. Joshua's victory wasn't gradual, it was sudden. After days of preparation, the walls came crashing down in an instant. Don't get discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Keep pushing forward, keep trusting, and keep working towards your goals. The breakthrough may come unexpectedly, but it will come. And when it does, be ready to seize the opportunity and claim your victory. Just like Joshua, trust in the power of faith, obedience, and community to help you break down your own walls and achieve your dreams. So, we've seen how Joshua, following God's command, led the Israelites to a seemingly impossible victory at Jericho. Remember the key takeaways? Faith requires obedience. God can accomplish the impossible, and even the most daunting obstacles can be overcome with trust. If you found this story inspiring and want to delve deeper into other incredible stories of faith from the Bible, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what other biblical narratives you'd like to see explored on this channel. And most importantly, subscribe to stay updated on all our future videos. Don't miss out on unlocking more ancient wisdom and inspirational stories. And that's the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. Hope you found it insightful. Remember to always keep the faith even when the walls seem too high.